There we go. Okay, perfect. Well, so how are you finding the material so far?
So far so good. It's
So far, so good. Any
I
questions on the
did
syllabus, the text, or?
I did the quiz today, and so I was curious about the presentation, the homework presentation that we're going to be doing. So it looks like we're doing two in two different weeks. Is that right?
Yes, that's
Okay.
correct.
Okay.
Yeah, that's usually the one assignment that gets everybody a little flustered because
Okay.
it's, you on video doing one of the assignments, but really it's no worse than me being on video doing these office hours. So you'll
Okay.
be fine.
Okay,
But
great.
let me walk you through it a little bit because it is, let me share my screen and then that'll help out a little bit here. I'm gonna move me out of the way and you all out of the way so you don't have to see each other and myself. Okay, oh, and let's move this out of the way so that doesn't get in the way. All right, so if we go to the presentation assignment module, eventually I'll actually post all these into one central location because it tends to get lost where it's at because you come here to this homework support sign up, right? And you should see a homework group, although you probably go directly in. Let's see if I can see in student view.
Are we automatically in a group? I don't recall seeing that. Is
Yeah,
that
you're
for your?
automatically in a group.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, sometimes I
Okay.
have to manage that, but you should see it something like this where you have, all these different weeks. So it's in paired weeks, 2 and 8, 2 and 10, 2 and 11, and 3 and 6, 3, 8, 3, 11. And then the instructions are to copy the whole list, put your name on it, and then the next person does the same thing, copy the whole list, put your name on it. This usually sometimes gets a little confusing. Some folks just copy one line, but then it gets really confusing because you don't see, you have to like piece together who's done what or who's signed up for what. So in this case, this group has actually done it right, which is brilliant. So by the time you get down to the last couple of people, you should have all these weeks signed up.
Okay.
And there's actually, I think if you go to, yeah, let me see if I can see it here in this student view. When you go to people, you can actually see the groups as well. Now, I don't think I've assigned myself to one of these groups, but you'll see these groups. And right now, there's 10 to 11 students in each group. I do this because usually about a quarter of the population drop out within a week or two. So I overbook it. So if you happen to, be the last person that's signed up for this and there's no more slots, just choose one and anyone, double book yourself or double book that slot for the assignment. But let me go back to that thing. So once you have homework support sign up, there we go. So anyway, so there's all the assignments, people have signed up. And then what's usually the next question is, well, where are these problems? Where do I find them, right? And so if I go to, I'm going to exit out of student view because this usually throws it for a wrench. Basically, instructor view and student view are basically the same. It's just a wee bit different. But if I go to McGraw-Hill and I go to the textbook, and let's see, you come into a slightly different view than I do, but I'll get to the textbook. And so if I go to chapter 1, no, wrong place. Sorry, I'm thinking wrong. See, this is what most people would do. They probably go to the textbook, see chapter 1, they probably do what I just did. That's not what you really want to do. What you want to do is you want to go. See, I'm a big proponent of just winging it because that way you see what you might do and you'll see exactly how not to do it when you go to do it. But anyway, homework support sign up, right? Very, very careful about these instructions. Okay, quiz access. Okay, week 2, quiz access. chapters 1 through 12, problems 13. Okay, I'll keep this open. So first we want to go to week 2 and then quiz access. So normally the way you're going to see it, go to student view. You're going to go to week 2, right? You're going to open that up. You're going to go down to the quiz access, which is this one right here. And you're going to run it. Although, guess what? It's locked because it's next week and it doesn't open up until, oh, that's weird. Start the 14th, end the 25th. I'll have to adjust that.
Because it's supposed to be
So
next.
you would go,
or-
it's week 2,
Okay.
right? Or did I, oh no, you're right. Thank you. That's why this is wrong. Okay.
Okay.
So week 2, thank you very much for helping me. Week 2 quiz access, there we go. And if you go into this and you begin it, then it's going to take you into quiz access. Now, just while I'm here, you have to get an 85% or higher in the quiz access in order to actually take the quiz, which is a big to do. I try to mention it in my intro video, but you have to get 85% in order to get the quiz. If you don't, then you effectively lose 100% on your quiz and a big percentage on your quiz access. So you don't want to like not pass the quiz access. Anyway, so there's 18 questions. I continue. And it said, I think it was problems 13 through 15, right? Problems 13 through 15. So then you would go to problem 13 through 15. So I'd go to 13, which is actually a 3-part problem. Okay. It's going to give you a starting point. So you have problem 13, 14, and 15 if you're doing next week's, and you would have a bunch of information, and then you'd have to work through building an income statement, I think a balance sheet. No, statement of retained earnings, and then probably balance sheet. Yeah. So you have to build these. And so what you would have to do effectively is the way I like to recommend it. Other people have varying ways of doing it, but the cheap and easy way is go to Zoom, start a recording, come in here and just start working the problem live in front of everybody. Not everybody likes to do that. They like to get it all right and then show everybody how to do it right. But that's not very helpful because just getting it right isn't part of the exercise here. It's actually showing people how to work through the problem, get it wrong in some cases, fix it, and then continue through it, right? So I would start out, opening up Zoom, start a recording, and then go through problems 13, 14, and 15. The other thing while I'm here is I'd also recommend doing it in Excel. So I recommend just having a blank workbook up, minimizing it off to the side, right? And do some of this work in Excel, because you can usually copy this information over, right? I can copy this. I can come over to Excel. That was a Control-C, by the way, if you don't know that, and then just paste the values in here. So now I have the values and everything else in here, and I can start to construct in Excel the same thing. I should be able to do this with this. If not, oh, I just duplicated the same thing. So I like to recommend that you just come in here, reorganize this stuff, and then say, once you go through the book, you'll understand this a little better. But on the incomes, we're doing income statement, right? Yeah, income statement. So this is a balance sheet item. So this is what I would do. I just record it like that. This is a balance sheet item. This is office supplies. This is a balance sheet item. It's really tricky. If it's a supplies expense, it'll be an income statement item. If it's an office supply, the balance sheet's an asset. Don't ask me why they do make it so confusing like that, but they do. Office equipment is balance sheet. Accounts payable is balance sheet. Common stock is balance sheet. Cash dividends is balance sheet. Oh, here we go. Income statement. This is income statement related. So now I can start, I'm just classifying things. Income statement. income statement, income statement, income statement. Okay, so now I know what goes where. And so fairly simply, once I know all this, then I can say, oh, okay, well, I come in here to the income statement. By the way, whoever's doing this first problem is getting a head start. I'll just do one part of it, right, and make it easy. But I know that it's an income statement, so it's going to be for a specific period. I'm going to call them for the month ended. I know that revenues go on top, so I do revenues. I know expenses go on the bottom, so then I come here and I hit expenses. And then I know that I only have one item here for revenue, consulting revenue, right? And that's for 13,720. So then I come in here and I find revenue, and you can actually type it revenue. There you go. Revenue, consulting revenue. What was that? That was 13,720. Oops, 13,720. And voila, all done. Okay, now on the expenses side, I've got what? Rent, salaries, telephone, and miscellaneous. So I'd find rent, wrong rent, rent. There you go. Salaries. What was the other one? Telephone expense, and miscellaneous, right? There we go. And then lastly, I would do these values. 3210. I'm probably asking more of a question. I'm just going through this meandering 6690. And do 870. And then lastly, this one was 680. Oops, 680. Okay, now that I got that, I've got all my expenses. Then I just have to do net income at the bottom. This is, see, revenue is greater than expenses, so it's net income. And then I would just do the math here. And I could do a calculator. That would be simple. Bring up my calculator. All online, right? I'm visualizing this for everybody so I can actually see what I'm doing and get it done. So 13,720 minus 11,450, and I got 2270 to put in here. And voila, I'm done, right? Theoretically with this one. And then the most important thing is so that everybody else sees how well I've done on this first example or this first problem, I check my work. And you can do this 3 times. And so voila, I got it all right. Now, if I happen to get it wrong, okay, I'll show you how I got it wrong. And then I'll show you how I would fix it. Okay, so let's go to 14. 14, next. Okay, same information, it's just a continuation. So it gives you the retained earnings at the beginning of the period as 0. Okay, that's great. Okay, now I got to do something. Are there any dividends in here? Oh, there's dividends. Oh my goodness. This is horrible. Dividends. Oh, 1760. Okay, so I need to add my net income. And my net income was, what was that? 2270? 2270. Well, let's say, oh, okay, I know it's not, I said it's supposed to be less dividends, right? But the reality is I got it wrong. I'm gonna say it's a net, I lost. And I got this one wrong. Okay, so, but 1760. So let's say go 1760 is less, right? And then this should be, let's say I got this one wrong too. Retained earnings, let's say I did December 1st. Okay, so now I should have 2 things that show up as wrong when I do my check my thing. Check work. Oh, dang it, I got 2 wrong. Okay, so now I come in here, I say, okay, well, I'll scratch my head. Oops, I have to return to the question first. Okay, it'll give me a chance to fix this. So I can say, oh, this should be, okay, I was right. This one, these 2 are wrong. So this one is less dividends, and this one should be for the period ending. Retained earnings December 31st. Oh, guess what? I also missed something else. Now I'm going to try this and watch this. It may not show it, but we'll see. Check my work. Am I right? Answer is not complete. Oh my goodness, why is it not complete? I don't see any X's. And you'll scratch your head forever wondering, well, what's wrong? Well, more than likely it's because you missed something in the statement. And I know that I missed the date. I know that just because I know it. But if you look at these blank spaces, sometimes you'll be able to figure it out. So if you go back to the blank spaces, like if I check on this one, oh, that doesn't do anything. But if I check on this one, oh, guess what? There's a drop down. So I can say as of statement of retained earnings. That's a beginning and an ending. So it's probably for the month ended. I'm going to take a guess. And now I can check my work. And last time, did I get it right on the third try? Yes, answer is complete and correct. All right. So this is how I would do this. And I don't know, I've been doing this for 10 minutes. The nice thing is if you do it while you're doing the quiz, you're really doing two birds with one stone, right? You're just walking through the quiz access, you're recording it, you're showing people how you're working through it. Probably you're brilliant and you get it all right. Probably you're like me and you have to guess on 3/4 of it. You get some of it right and you get some of it wrong. So you'll be able to show people how you work through the times when you got it wrong, as well as the times that you got it right. Okay, then I'd stop my recording, I would post it in my group chat, and I'd be done. Any questions? Sorry, that was a long answer to a very short question.
It looks like you read the material for the week and then you're taking kind of a pre-quiz before you're doing this, or?
Yes,
It's
yes,
okay.
that's right.
Okay.
So normally what happens is if I go back to the modules, kind of explain this a little bit better in terms of the sequence. So, ignore week 1. So this is week 2, right? And you have all of your reading to do. And then this is like a reminder that you, if you're the presenter, need to actually post your presentation here at the end of the week. Well, actually, no, you post it on the 11th so people can review it and comment on it by the 14th, right? So this is your reminder to post it by the 11th. This is when everybody has to go in there and look at it. But you're doing it for this quiz access. So you're actually doing the quiz access a couple of days before everybody else does, right? At least one of the problems. Okay. So you take this and then you take the quiz. But you have to get 85% on this or greater in order to get access to this. Okay. All right. So usually that's how it works. Now this is a full week. So a midweek presentation is submitted, end of the week quiz is due. There's other weeks where the presentation is due on Saturday. Let's see if I can find that right here. Homework presenters, right? So this is a Saturday. So the presentations are due on Saturday to be viewed by Wednesday for a quiz that's also due on Wednesday, right? So sometimes it's Wednesday to Saturday and sometimes it's Saturday to Wednesday. It just kind of depends on the dynamics of the week.
And is this something that even if we're not presenting, we turn this in individually?
If you're not presenting, all you got to do is go in here to this presentation week and review it. It's actually a help for you. So if you're the presenter, you're helping the rest of your group with those problems. If you're the other members of the group, you're just getting the benefit of somebody else working through it firsthand, right? And usually you're getting 2 or 3 problems to work through as a group effectively to help you through that first quiz, that quiz access.
Okay. I understand. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, it's the most tricky part of the whole semester. The presentation.
Well, this definitely helps. I was really overwhelmed with that, so I'm glad that you
Yeah, no problem. And hopefully I've identified most of the problems or challenges you'll face as you do it. Either getting something wrong, have to check your work, fixing it. Sometimes people can't figure it out, and that's okay too, right? So if you do the whole thing and you still are stumped on one, I'm not going to dock you on points, even though it says I can. I'm not going to dock you on points for trying but not being able to get it all right. What's best is to try until you're about to go crazy. Go ahead and post it to your group, and maybe some of the other group members will be able to give some help, on how to solve it. And that's good. I like that a lot, actually, because when I go into this presenter's rubric, right? It says stuff like uses appropriate technology. Okay, as long as you use a video thing, you're good. Clarity of video and audio, as long as I can hear you and I can see the the video, no problem. Correct answer to the problem, okay, you get full marks if you get 6. Okay, if you tried and you tried and you tried and you didn't, I'm still going to give you 6. I'm not going to dock you for any of this other stuff, right?
Okay.
So on one hand, you'll find I'm a real bummer on being late for assignments. But on the other hand, on these things, I'm real flexible. So as long as you try, you get it. As long as you try and you get it in on time, you definitely get it. You try, you don't get it in on time, you probably will have a little problem with me.
Yeah.
But prompt and clear answers to any
Prompts.
discussion boards. Right. This one, as long as you're just, participating, I'm good with that, and use correct terminology. I don't expect you to be any better than I am when it comes to correct terminology on anything. As long as you try, you're still going to get full points. So this is a big assignment. This is a 20-point assignment. As compared to I forget what the point spread is on this, or at least the weighting on this. Homework support, 10% of your grade is on 2 assignments.
Wow.
Right. So if you miss these 2 presentations, you're automatically not going to get an A. I can guarantee it. Right. If or a B or a C, this one definitely counts as a lot, but it's super easy to do and get 20 points just by doing the video, posting it, and responding to people's questions.
So I like that you talked about how accounting is like another language like Martian. That we're just basically in a language class having to learn how to speak this. So I laugh, but it's true.
It is very true. Debits, credits, all that jazz. It can really get you spun up and around and all over, and so it's difficult.
Yeah.
And so.
But this definitely helps. I was looking through the syllabus and the week's activities, and I was very glad that you had a Zoom meeting tonight. So because I was panicking a bit, but I feel a lot better about that. Thank you.
Yeah, I think this will probably be the hardest part of the first week, is the sign up and then being the first one out of the gate to do the presentation, because it's when is it due? It's due next week. Yeah, next Wednesday. Yeah, next Wednesday. So you definitely, if you're the first one out of the gate, if you're week 2, then you definitely want to get through this smart book work and then do your presentation. Really do the quiz on your presentation.
Okay.
As soon as you can.
Okay.
Okay. Let's see, syllabus, icebreaker, online video. Oh, one other thing, I'm not sure if I emphasized it enough in my intro video. These concept videos are very important. I find that most students don't use them enough. And so in the where's that? In each week, you'll have the supplemental study materials. If you go there, then it has quick videos about any of these items, kind of key components. And they're nice because, let's say I want the accounting equation, right? I can go to it. It will actually walk through a series of videos and quick question response type exercises, right? So the accounting equation, right? You got a 1-minute video, you watch it, and then you check your knowledge on a simple question, right? If equity is 30,000 and liabilities are 19, then assets must equal what, right? Now I have the answer here. You won't have the answer, but it's assets equals liabilities plus equity, right? So that's $49,000. And it'll actually also give you the why or the how to get to that question or the answer. So these are nice. And you got, I don't know, there's probably 7 or 8 of these different questions. Now, this one only has 2 because it's fairly straightforward. I've heard in the past students ask me, well, Brother Lewis, why don't you do more videos about the what's in the textbook? The textbook isn't enough. I'm like, well, then you're not looking at the study videos, because they're right there, right? All these videos are right here, and they're much better than I could ever do. not only better in terms of content, but then better in terms of checking your knowledge pretty quickly, right? So this is a nice way to work through some of these things. And usually students that aren't doing so well, they come to me and say, Brother Lewis, what can I do? And I say, have you looked at the study videos? And they say, no, well, that's where you should go. Go to the study videos, right?
Yeah.
They're going to be helpful. Okay. And they're short, quick, snappy. So it's not like you're going to spend a half an hour watching the video and then take a half an hour to do the actual problem, right? So you're going to take a minute here and 30 seconds here. 2 seconds, you know, and on total, you're going to take 5 minutes on this one subject if you're having problems with it.
Great.
Okay. All right, let me see if there's anything else I can emphasize here while I'm on the podium, not podium, on the soapbox. Okay, let's see. Melanite, right? Or melanite?
Yes. Yeah.
Yes, which one?
Melanite.
Melanite. Okay, excellent. I couldn't tell if I was speaking Hawaiian, Japanese, or something
I'm
else.
Tongan.
You're from Tonga, right?
Yes.
Yeah, you're from Tonga. Okay, just double checking. Sometimes it gets confusing. I have been around the world a little bit, so I do know how to enunciate or pronunciate some of these very beautiful
That's awesome.
names, but sometimes I get it wrong. So, did you have any questions?
Nope. You pretty much answer all my question. I'm not gonna lie. I was really worried about this class. Never really take accounting before. So I was like, oh man, I told my husband, I'm gonna fail. But then as soon as I go through it, I was like, oh wow, all the information and all, I mean, that helped, just like what you said, all the video and stuff. I mean, like most of the stuff, like what the accounting terms or whatever. I mean, like I never learned about it. I was like, wow, it's very interesting. I mean, like how all the short videos and stuff, like you go through the question, it does really make sense. I mean, like it's really good. So yeah, I don't have any question right now.
Okay. Yeah, it is hard. I would say that the harder part is making sure the first couple of weeks you get the basic terminology, the basic language kind of not really understood, but you get a sense for it. The harder part is going to be usually debits and credits and accounts, and what accounts apply to what type of income statement or balance sheet and stuff like that. That type of introductory information is going to be very helpful, because then as you get into the rest, it's all about, well, how do you classify something? How do you do the math on some of these things? How do you do journal entries? How do you do some of these other accounting gyrations? But if you don't understand the basics, the debits, the credits, the account types, the where they go in the financial statements, then you'll be really lost for a long time. And you'll be like cursing at yourself. Why did I take this class? Why did I even think about it? It is, as I like to remind myself sometimes, is that Accounting 201 is a gateway class to accounting. So either you get it or you don't. If you don't get it, you'll be lucky to get a C. And you should figure that out very early, because you don't want to go through the headache and the absolute pain to try to figure something out only to get a failing grade in it. If you get into this first couple of weeks and you start to say, yeah, I can figure this out, I can understand it a little bit, I may not do great, but I can get through it, then you'll definitely get a C or a B, right? A's really tough in this class, super tough. Maybe a handful, maximum 2 get it. It's not because of me, it's not because of the syllabus or anything, it's just, it's hard work, right? It really is. I just happened to be lucky enough to squeak by when I was going through 201 back in the day, 30 some odd years ago. So, and I found organizing information to be my passion, and that's what I do. Well, not anymore. I'm more of a project manager than I am an actual accountant, but I was a controller and CFO for a long time. And that's what you do. You just take information and you organize it and you figure it out how to present it to other people. Okay. Any other questions, Sarah?
Oh, that's a great explanation that you gave of that. Actually, that's what accounting is.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's great. No,
Totally agree.
just organizing
Yeah,
and present it to other people. Oh, I like that.
Well,
Yeah.
we always talked about which bucket it goes in, and a bucket is just these accounts. And you just figure out, is your bucket running dry or is it running over? Then where do you put the buckets? So, they would talk about widgets, they talk about all sorts of stuff, but really it's just about organizing data and
Yeah.
present it to other people so they can understand it.
I'm sure I'll
Okay,
have other
well,
questions
then,
as I go along, but
yeah, that's the other thing. I try to be very prompt on responses. So if you do send me a question, even if I happen to be working, I mean, I do have a full-time job, and then I have 2 accounting 201 classes. So it's not like I'm sitting around, wondering what to do during the day. But I usually check my email in the morning. I check it about in the afternoon, and then by about 3 or 4 o'clock, I'm done with work, my real work, my day job, and I move on to my night job, my hobby job. And so usually you'll find that I will respond in one of those 3 time periods, and you should get a fairly quick response to things. Now I'm geriatric, and so I tend to go to bed around 6 or right after this, so about 7 or 8. If I'm not doing school, I'm usually in bed by 6, but I'm back into school mode. So yeah, I'm usually up until about 7 or 8 o'clock Mountain Time, and then I'm hit the bed and I'm out at 9 and wake up at 5, and then I start all over again. So any time during those periods, you should get a response from me pretty quickly. Number one. Number two, I do tend to grade things fairly quickly, right? So if you submitted it today, more than likely you'll have it graded tomorrow. I'm probably a day behind because I haven't looked at all the icebreaker things yet. Once I get it spun up, then it's usually a 24-hour return on the grades. I have actually until 7 days is what BYU says I can do, but I think that's horrible. By the way, I take a class at BYU at least once or twice a year, and I submit and I want a grade back immediately. So I try to do the same thing. So you should have a grade within 24 hours. If you don't get a grade from me within 24 hours, that means one of 2 things. Either I didn't see it for some reason, and therefore I didn't grade it, or somehow I got lost in the shuffle, which means I didn't see it. So it's really one thing. I didn't see it somehow. So feel free if you don't see something within 24 hours, just ping me, ask me if I've seen it, if I'm going to grade it, and I'll go in and I'll check and I'll make sure I get the grade done. Okay. I usually don't work on Sundays. I almost never work on Sundays. I hate working on Sundays. My wife always teases me about it. I'm like, I don't do anything on Sunday. But so that's the other thing. I like to remind if I didn't do it in the video. A lot of these assignments are due like at midnight on Saturdays, right? Or they're due on midnight on Wednesdays. If you wait till 9 or 10 o'clock to try to do that, and you try to get a hold of me as the technical support guy, which I'm not, but you try to get a hold of me to see if you can solve the problem, you're not going to get me. I'm not going to be available. So that means that more than likely you're not going to turn it in on time, which means that you're going to get a 0 on the assignment. So what I like to do personally, even when I take classes, is I like to work about a week in advance. And this class is a little bit harder to do that, but at least a half a week in advance. If you can do that, you'll tend to mitigate any potential risks that you'll run into throughout the semester if you're working a half a week in advance. Because you can, take the quiz on Wednesday, let's say, for week 2. If you take the quiz on Wednesday and you, for some reason, can't get past the quiz access, then you can send me a message and say, Brother Lewis, I'm struggling with this. I may tell you to go someplace to find the answer, and I won't give you the answer. But at least you have a day or 2 to struggle with it, and then try to get it. Then to try to take the quiz access at 7 or 8 o'clock on Saturday, fail it, not be able to pass it, and then you've lost 100 points on the quiz, and then probably at least 25 points on the quiz access, right? So 125 points you've lost out of a 200-point assignment. That's not good. So that's why I recommend always try to stay about a half a week ahead, and so that you can mitigate any of the issues and work through them as you can.
Good to know. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry. Soapbox again. Back to just regular. All right. If you have any questions, the one place, the inbox, send me just an email there. I actually didn't want to go there. Send me a question there, or you can send me a question via email, or that's probably the two best places, the inbox or email.
Okay.
I can also be reached by phone. I think I have that on my thing. That's kind of my wife gives me a hard time as well. I don't have my phone with me most of the time. And if I do have it with me, it's on silent or vibrate. Yeah, my phone is about as worthless as the brick, the weight it is. But if you do text me, I usually do see it from time to time throughout the day, and will respond. But the best place is the inbox, because I see that quicker, or the email. I see these quicker, much quicker than I see my phone most of the time.
Okay. Good to know.
Okay. All right. Well, thanks for joining me today.
Well, thank you.
Thank you, Brother Louis.
Yeah. Have a good evening.
Have a wonderful week. Bye.
All right. Take care.
Yeah, bye.